some kinks and fetishes that are displayed in the porn that we read that might not be your thing.
Is there anything specific we should mention about yours?
Right, yeah, we're definitely going to have content warnings for every episode. So if there's a content warning that we miss, please add, let us know and we'll add it. That way, everybody can make sure that they can skip if they need to, which we definitely want,
Yeah, we want people to have fun, but we also want people to be safe and well and, we don't want to cause anyone any distress.
Yeah.
So we're here for laughs and sex.
Yeah. And that's, I know we talked about it as a group, that a lot of creature porn has a lot of iffy consent stuff in it.
Yes, very dubious consent at best.
We'll do our best to avoid a lot of that. But I will say, this is under the kink of consent play, where, in reality, people who are doing this, it's very important that there's lots of discussions beforehand and thoughtful boundaries being practiced and all sorts of planning. That is how that works. For anyone who's never been involved in that kind of kink, totally fine. We just want to be very clear that these are being written under that category.
Yes.
So if something like that feels a little bit iffy, we will be cautious around it. But we just want to be clear that these are fantasies.
Yeah.
So it is not meant to be taken as this is what people should do.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they're written for people with the non-con kink or consensual non-con kink. But because it's
an abbreviation.
Of course it is. But because it is fantasy, there's some non-con elements. It's not consensual non-con. It's non-con elements because
it's the fantasy part.
Yeah.
The discussion part is not a part of the fantasy. That's just the prep work.
Right.
Yeah.
There's not really any of that in what I've written. I'm going to try to keep away from that. It's just stuff that I find pre-written online. There's a lot. There's a whole lot.
So be careful about patting the paper all the time.
Sorry.
I know it's really hard to not touch a table.
I know. Well, I'm always been a very big leaner.
You can lean on the table and stuff. Just try not to do a full knock.
I see. Okay, so do Braxxie foot? Braxxie do. Let's get in it. Jane limped her old. Oh wait, hold on.
Oh yeah, I need to. I'm going to be reading
a little bit of community
dialogue here, but I have not read any of this before.
No, I'm going to point to you when it's your turn.
I don't know the creature beforehand. I don't know the porn beforehand, but I am greatly excited about just jumping in and trying this out. Here we go. Yes, I want to make sure I got the right page. Okay.
Okay. Jane limped her old beater Chevy down the road. After a very long shift, all she wanted was to get home. She pleaded with her wheezing truck.
Come on, girl. Just a little while longer. Promise I'll take you to get fixed. Just hold out.
Perfect. Just have to say. Perfect. Okay. No way. No, I'll keep pointing at you because just say one line and then I'll point at you.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Unfortunately for Jane, this is when the truck spluttered its last and jerked to a stop. Letting out a long sigh and resting her head on the steering wheel, Jane debated calling a tow truck or walking the remaining miles to her home. Given her location, a long, dark stretch of road winding through the forested hills of West Virginia, and the late hour, Jane opted to call a tow truck and wait. Her newest concern being that her terrible ex worked for the one towing company in town. Surely the driver will be one of the other guys, she hoped. She had suffered enough tonight, right? Wrong. After waiting a full hour, dozing off in the cab of her busted truck, Jane roused to headlights in her rear view. She hopped out to meet the driver and saw that it was, indeed, her terrible ex. She muttered under her breath. Trying to school her expression and get this over with, she greeted her ex.
Hey, Buck. That was a little too much. All right. Hey, Buck. I need to tow. You don't answer my... No, that's... You don't answer my text when I... Oh, God damn it. You don't answer my texts or calls for months? And that's your first words to me?
Buck started right in, already turned up to 11. Here we go, thought Jane.
Buck, I'm tired. Been sitting out here for an hour, working doubles all week. I have to pee. I just want to go home. I don't answer your calls and texts because we broke up and I need space to think.
Jane snapped. She had hoped to keep her cool and get through this as easily as possible, but Buck had an uncanny. Uncanny?
He's un-Canadian.
He's un-Canadian.
Not Canadian.
How un-Canadian of him. She had hoped to keep her cool and get through this as easily as possible, but Buck had an uncanny ability to grate on her nerves.
Space to think?
Buck started to shout, his face turning red. Jane geared up for another shouting match. She had hoped she would never have to go through this again. Jane faced Buck, ready to let it all out, when she was hit by an overwhelming odor of rotten eggs. Her eyes stung and watered from the sudden intensity of the sulfur stench. She felt as if her sinuses were being seared from the fumes surrounding her. Is that coming from my truck, she wondered? Wiping at the tears streaming down her face, she looked to Buck to ask him what in the world would make that smell. That's when she realized his eyes were wide as saucers, staring at something behind her. Mouth opening and closing soundlessly, he backed away and scrambled into his tow truck. As Buck's tow truck roared back to life, Jane felt an overwhelming presence at her back. Muscles frozen, she forced herself to turn and look at what was behind her. By fractions of an inch she turned, slowly, stiffly, her mind racing with fear. What first caught her eye was not fur or teeth, but a peculiar light. The moment it shone on her face, she felt a sense of calm wash over her. At first, all she could see was the light. It was everything, all-consuming. The sound of Buck's truck backing up, turning and speeding away, was lost on Jane. The smell that had once burned her sinuses and caused her eyes to sting and tear was gone, replaced with an aroma that was impossible to describe, except to say it was the most alluring scent she had ever encountered.
Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
We're just reaching that top of the roller coaster, aren't we?
Her fear-frozen muscles relaxed, and the tension drained out of her. Facing the light, Jane felt her limbs grow warm, like she was being wrapped up in the arms of a lover. With each pulse of the red-orange light, Jane could feel her own pulse increasing. Her breathing became audible, her teeth?
My teeth, they're just ready for sex.
They're just jiggling for sex.
That's the first sign when someone's like looking to fuck. If I see their teeth like giving a little wiggle, I'm like, dope.
Like chattering like a silly symphony skeleton.
Yeah, exactly. I do have sex with a lot of wandering skeletons. Go on.
All right.
Technically, we all do. Just prepare yourself for that thought. Okay.
They're just all inside of us. Okay. Her breathing became audible. Her cheeks flushed. To her surprise, she could feel a stirring heat in her core. Slowly walking forward, looking up toward the light, Jane began to reach for its source. Her hands brushed up against a material that was both cool and soft. As she wiggled and trailed her fingers within the smooth, unknown material, she could feel an electric zing. Miniature electric shocks vibrated her fingers from the skin down to the bone. Instead of feeling pain, these shocks gave Jane a novel sense of pleasure.
Oh, now we're getting into my zone here. All right. This is my shit.
Jane, focused on the new sensation in her hands, noticed slightly late that the material she had been touching had moved and shifted. The light had come down much closer to her face than it once was. Now, above her, she could see that the light was emanating from the visage of a towering figure. Smooth features that shone, large eyes that glowed, and a spade-like halo full of light that rushed and danced. No sound, except a hiss like a whisper, came from the figure. Yet as Jane marveled at the glow of the halo, she realized she could understand the changes and shapes of the light within as emotions, even rudimentary words.
I'm vibing real hard with this so far.
That's good. Let's vibe with it.
Mm-hmm.
Much more emotional and sensual than I thought it would be.
I'm going to definitely get us all dry mouthwash. Just get like little cups that we can shoot during it. Get us a spit jar. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's get
the spit jar's almost full.
Oh God, that's when the episode's done. Spit jar's full. Gotta quit.
Gotta quit. Once it starts to reach that what's that called? The surface tension, like.
Oh yeah,
where
meniscus.
Yeah, I think that's.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. I think the meniscus is like the kind of film that